Good afternoon. Welcome to the market close. So we got ourselves a good old green day on the market after, well, we had quite the red beginning in December, but we are bouncing back a little bit today. It kind of reminds me of November. It reminds me of November. November, we were up and down, up and down, up and down. Will we see that again this month? Hard to say. I do think we still got the tax loss harvesting. It's putting pressure on the downside, but it's uh, it's another month. It's another game. We're going to see how this is all going to turn out. Of course, guys, I got to point out this this is bank week. So we got bank earnings coming like crazy this week. Today we got two more. We got National Bank, we got Royal Bank. Now we're going to talk about the dividends because we kind of suspected we weren't going to get a dividend rate hike. A hike with Scotiabank, and that's exactly what happened. Scotiabank's dividend stayed exactly as it was, but spoiler alert, that's not going to be the case today. We're going to look at two dividend hikes as well as some earnings. We're going to take a look and see, did National Bank exceed their earnings? Did Royal Bank exceed their earnings? Is there anything to worry about? Is this good news for Sixty? We got a lot to cover for sure as we move forward. And we've also got the financial express is on the road. So as you know, this month we can add up to 16 extra shows. All it takes is four supers or four gifted or a combination of that, and that earns another show. And today we do have that open to add a show for tomorrow. And before we before we get too far ahead, look at this. Brian is out of the gate right away, gifting a Mountain Finance membership. That, of course, means that Brian is the gate. And Jonathan, I hope you're not late because you got yourself a gifted membership thanks to Brian. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Brian. And it is nice to see. So we're three away from adding a show tomorrow. All right. Before I jump into the chart, there's one more thing I wanted to mention as well. I said if we hit a goal, and I think I know what the goal is going to be. So if we add 10 in this month, so just 10 of the 16. So, we can have some off days if you guys want. Then what we're going to do is we're going to open up, I guess we'll call it the Super Express on our final market close in December. What does that mean? That means that everything on that day is cumulative going into January. So if you want me to work every single market close in January, well, take that number, multiply it by 4, and if we get that number of, yeah, anyway, you know what I mean. Every 4 supers we get on that final day, or every 4 gifted, adds a show in January. We'll stack up as many as you guys want. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So let's see how that looks. I want to get to the charts, but well, we got ourselves a super. We got a what is this? $5.49 coming in from Danny, otherwise known as Kiev and Kaz, and that, guys, means that we got another goat in the corral. It's filling up. It's filling up. We're 2 away. We're 2 away from a show tomorrow. Make that one away. Make that one away. Here's Paul coming in with a $1 super sticker, and there we go. There's our third goat. We got room for one more goat in the corral before we have to start. Before we have to go to the beaver. Yeah, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. We're 1 away, so I have a feeling I'm working tomorrow. I have a strong feeling that that'll be the case. All right. Ooh, itchy eyebrow for some reason. Let's get to the market. Let's take a look at today's market. Let's pull it up. So as you can see, we've rebounded quite a bit. We got a nice amount of green going on today. We are we're still in the red for the month, but we're well on our way to making up for the little bit of that red. So today we are up up 30. I was going to say 31%. Holy cow! If the market was up 31%, that would be crazy. But no, we're up 0.32%. Up 0.32%. And if we look south of the border, the U.S. This is the S&P 500. Now they did get above that blue line, so we currently have a green December currently running on the S&P 500. They're up 0.38%. And out of the corner of my eye, there's no suspense today. No suspense today because here comes Jordan. Here comes Jordan. Holy banana bread. Sorry, Jordan. You don't even look like a Gordon. Here comes Jordan to fill up our last position here in the corral. We got a show tomorrow. There will be a market close. And of course, tomorrow, if you want a market close Friday, you'll have that opportunity. Whew, I like it when there's no suspense. I like suspense too, but you guys absolutely rock. So we do have a show tomorrow. It's in the bag. It's in the bag. Lovely. All right. Whew. Now, where was I? All right, the NASDAQ. NASDAQ also, look at this. The NASDAQ is well above the blue line, having a green day today. Strong day for tech. And we're going to see that when we get to the, when we get to the heat maps. We're going to see all of that. The Dow Jones, so our industrial stocks, they're up as well, 0.94. 0.94. And I just see out of the corner of my eye a cowboy saying, set your timer for... I'm not going to miss the bell. I will not miss the bell today. Some days I will miss the bell, but that usually means the next day I'm watching it like a hawk. And today I am right now, 3:52. We got 8 minutes. 8 minutes. The Russell... the Russell has moved up above the blue line, having a pretty strong day. Now, the Russell, guys, that's all of those little companies. Your small caps are all in there with the Russell. They're having a good day. Like I said, up 1.66%. Gold looking strong today. Well, not super strong. They're kind of flat, but they're up 0.04%. We're going to take it. Silver up 0.05%. Now, yesterday was one of them rare days when copper was down, and copper stormed back today, up 2.66%. And of course, we got that covered call copper ETF that was launched. Was it yesterday? Was it yesterday it launched? But yeah, not too shabby. It's probably having a good day, and we'll look at that a little bit later as well. Oil also having a good day, 1.15%. In fact, guys, one of the benefits of being a channel member is you get to see the swing trades I'm making. Now, I did make a swing trade today on oil, and it was successful. It wasn't a big swing trade. I didn't make as much as I wanted to make, but I was happy with it. I was happy with it for sure. Bitcoin also having a good day, up 2.22%, actually 2.25%. It's moving. It's still moving. So Bitcoin doing good, Ethereum doing good. So crypto having another good day, which is fantastic. I love to see more strength back in the crypto market overall. Okay, heading to our heat map, and let's get rid of that sidebar. It's hard to tell that it's green, but it is green. All these ones in here, they're so close to gray, but they are green. I got to find there's got to be a setting where I can control this. I'd like to have that green a little more vivid. But look at this. CNR continuing to have a good week, up 2.51%. And the banks, well, Royal Bank up 0.81. And that's surprising, guys, because they had earnings. And let me just tell you, they actually had pretty good earnings. So Royal Bank is only up 0.81. And National Bank also had earnings. And they're down 1.90. What's going on? They did have good earnings too. So we're going to look at both of those here on the other side of the bell. CNQ, Imperial Oil, Cenovus, all doing well. All of the oil stocks, of course, they're doing well. Of course, they're doing well. Let's take a gander south of the border. And this is kind of interesting. For one, as you guys saw, the NASDAQ was doing really well, but But look at this. Microsoft down 2%. Now, Microsoft did have a good morning, but well, a little bit of a good morning. There was a tiny bit of good in there, but for the most part, it's not as good as I had hoped. I actually did make a play on Microsoft this morning. I ended up bailing out of it. I didn't take a loss. I took like a $50 profit, but it didn't do. I thought we were going to get a bounce. That did not happen. Apple down, Nvidia down. Google, though, having a good day. And I guess the big winner in tech is Tesla, up 4.16%. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. We got about 4 minutes to the bell. And here's crypto. This is all green for the most part. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all doing well. Now, it is tradition that I like to pick on a little altcoin. I like to pick one the opposite color of the market. We'll pick a red one. This is a coin I have never heard of. Well, hopefully. There's been a couple of times where I've actually picked the same coin. Like, how can that be? Let's see. What did I click on? Here we go. Oh, I'm picking a coin to demonstrate that these are not great coins, and I picked the loser coin. Oh, I couldn't have scripted this, guys. I couldn't have scripted this. And guys, this is completely random. I had no clue what I was clicking on, but I clicked on loser coin. I don't know what it does, but it's in the name. It's in the name. It's probably not something that it's probably not something you want in your crypto portfolio. I call these guys crap coins because it's like going to Vegas and playing craps. The odds are not in your favor. So be careful with these. If you're interested in loser coin, guys, don't be interested in loser coin. But if you are, at least read the white paper. Make sure it does something. Make sure it has a function. Make sure it's something that you have faith in. Quite honestly, you can make money in crypto, but you want to make money on your Bitcoins, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and gosh darn it, even the Dogecoin will make you some money. All right. Back to Big Me, and we have not missed the bell. And we will start in the chat with Claude. Hello, my copper ETF is doing well again. Is doing well again today. Look at this, COPP up 4.16%. Yes, copper's having a pretty good day for sure. Paul says, good afternoon. Tesla having a good day today, up 4.1% after the Trump administration said they will do a robotic executive order in 2026. There we go. That'll be interesting. We'll have to see what that looks like for sure. All right, I'm just moving this out of the way. I had a mirror sitting there and I'm like, it's in my way. It's in my way. Brian is in the house with whoops, come on up. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. We got about a minute and a half to the bell. Cowboy saying greetings all. Now, Paul says Santa rally. Well, it's way too early for that. It's way too early for a Santa rally, unless it's like a premature Santa rally. But no, it's too early. The Santa rally technically begins right at the end of December, and actually a good chunk of it's the first few trading days in January. So we got a little bit of time left before we'll see whether or not we get a Santa rally this year. And Brian said, and we got 1 minute left, I just bought a little of the new CPCC. I wish I bought it yesterday when it was cheaper. Yes. Yeah, I mean, copper having a really good day. And I've been bullish on copper for a while. We're looking at a copper shortage by 2030. So that bodes really, really well. Now, this one, the CPCC, you're getting some income as well. So a covered call copper ETF, definitely an interesting play. Now, mind you, depending on how explosive copper gets on the charts, you could be trading a little bit of that upside potential for the income. But, you know, a lot of us are completely okay with doing that. That's for sure. All right, guys, we got about 20 seconds until the bell. The bell's a little loud, so if you got your headphones on and you're not, you don't like the loud noise, now's the time to probably start reaching for them to pull them out, because you got 5 seconds before the bell goes. And I'm going to hit this exact. Here we go. Boom. The market. There we go. The market's closed. We've made it past hump day in the market. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's see here. Cowboy says, it's looking like Christmas as I ponder what to buy, what to buy. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Brian says you are right yesterday about blocks not. So yeah, Paul was mentioning that blocks was not doing a reverse split. So Brian saying it. I don't know where my head was. It was ULTY. So that's another yield. ULTY is a yield max one. They did a reverse split. So now you only have 2 shares. So pocket change. What can you say? And Brian says, I still have pocket chains on blocks 10 shares. There we go. And there's the Nightbot. We don't have to worry about that. We already have a show ready for tomorrow. Kiev and Kaz is in the house. Actually, well, we know Kiev and Kaz is in the house because she bought one of the actually a super. She bought a super. All right, now let's jump ahead here to Mary. We got Mary in the house. Mary's our official captain of the like button. So guys, if you haven't hit the like button, it's there. It's lonely. It's waiting to turn blue. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to have some coffee. And this is a really good one because it's got some pumpkin spice in it. Oh, very, very good. I can taste the cinnamon and the nutmeg and all of that. All right, we got Rory in the house with an afternoon. And we got Bonjour from Good Vibes. Bonjour, Good Vibes. Jordan, good afternoon, Candace. Hope you're doing well today. Absolutely. Pretty good day for sure. Today was actually a scripting day. So I scripted the 0 to 100K challenge and pulled all the data together. So that will be, I'll film and edit that tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, the channel members will be able to catch up on the challenge. And then I got to edit as well. I also got to still edit that video. I did an interview. I interviewed a couple of the management team from 9 Point. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that as well. I'd like to get that one done by Friday and hopefully get it out to you guys next week. So that's gonna be fun for sure. Now it was funny. I was thinking last night. I was thinking of a logo for 9 Point. And I was like, I can't put this in the video because they probably wouldn't appreciate it. But I was thinking their slogan should be 9 Point for when 10 points is just too darn much or too darn many. Anyway, that was kind of where I was thinking, but I don't think they would go for that. All right, Adihit says, I have 5 ETFs. The only one that is down today is Bank. Go figure. I know. And 60 came down a little bit today as well. So, nice, better entry point for sure. But I think part of it is, so the Royal Bank. Now that we brought up banks, let's jump over here for a second. Whoa, that's not where I wanted to jump. All right, well, jump to here. This is where I wanted to jump. All right, and let's head back over here. And you know what? I'm going to drop out of here, and we're going to drop into the bank list. Let's start with, we'll start with the Royal Bank. So here is today's Royal Bank. Now, they're up. They're not up much. They're up 0.83. They should be up more because look at this. Look at these earnings. So on their actual EPS, they did exceed by 8.59%. On their revenue, they exceeded by 2.44%. So we're looking at, they did really, really well. Now, unfortunately, in the call, one of the things that Royal Bank is sort of cautioning is that they're not happy with the economy and that they gave a whole bunch of I don't want to say dire, but they gave a bunch of warnings about the Canadian economy right now. And I think that kind of overshadowed a little bit of what they did in that time. So I think they should have been higher. I think they should have had better results. Now, not just this, guys. They did boost their dividend. And when I say they boosted their dividend, they boosted it by 10 cents. That's a lot. That was actually, I was surprised when I saw that they had boosted it by 10 cents. But 10 cents, go figure. Now, in addition, we also had National Bank. Now, National Bank is down. But yet, look at this. I mean, they were up briefly at the initial news. They went all the way up to 175, but they also really good earnings. They exceeded on their EPS, so their earnings. They exceeded by 7.54%. On their revenue, they exceeded by 7.10%. So once again, another great earnings. And well, they also boosted their dividend. In their case, 6 cents. It was 6 cents they went up by. So far we got 3. And let's go to our scorecard. I made a scorecard, guys. I made a scorecard. Here we go. Here we go. So far, everybody has exceeded on EPS. Everybody's exceeded on revenue. And 2 of the 3 have increased their dividends. So we got 10 cents for Royal Bank, 6 cents for National Bank, and 0 cents for Scotiabank. So we still have BMO, CIBC, and TD to report. So, and I'm telling you, I'm expecting some more. I'm expecting to put a lot of green check marks on this as we move through the week. But see, there's so many great things you can do with that whiteboard. So yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Whew. Now, let's jump back to Big Me, and we got Tim Smith up next. Have you seen Caleb Hammer's financial audit? You should do a show where you have people on a roast them over their portfolios. Portfolio audit with Candace. We kind of do that. So if guys, I have no problem roasting, or I don't want to say roasting. Roasting is kind of negative. I will never, I'm not going to tear apart your portfolio. I never will. I will look at it. I will critique it in a constructive way. But if you want me to do that, there's 2 things you got to do. There's 2 things. The first is you gotta put it on Blossom. So let me drop, you know what? Let me drop Blossom's link in here. So you got to drop it on Blossom. You don't, Blossom, you can either hook it up. They can hook it up and import it if you're on like Wealthsimple or Questrade, or you can just manually enter your portfolio in there. That's what I've done for the 0 to 100K, because they don't have API access to National Bank. So once you've got your portfolio over there, then, and you can't do this last part on the desktop yet. And I got to bug Brandon Beavis about it, but message me and say, hey, Candace, can you look at my portfolio on the Sunday show? And I'll do it. I mean, I'm not going to do those on the weekdays, on the market closes, but on the Sunday show, I will definitely do it. So just keep them coming. I think the last one we looked at was Ian. So, there's plenty of room if you guys want me to do that. Just, like I said, sign up on Blossom, get your portfolio on there, whichever way you want to do it, and we'll look at it. We'll look at it absolutely. All right. Kevin Kaz, looking like the goat paddock is filling up. It is. And now, I've used all the original goats. So now we got, if we get another super today, or gifted, we'll have to break out the beaver. Doorpad is in the house with a hello all. Do you regret this yet, Candace? I hope not, because we love seeing you every day. No, I don't regret it at all. And quite literally, let's look far ahead into the future. So when this channel is able to completely support me, it's not there yet. But when, I would say probably 2-3 years from now, I imagine that might be a normal thing. That might be a very normal thing, actually. I do enjoy doing the market closes. Absolutely. They're fun. Let's see. Set your timer for the bell. We were on time. Now, mind you, guys, if you were sitting there looking at the clock, your clock probably hit 4, and then about 4:20, maybe at 4, not 4 hours and 20, but probably 20 seconds after 4. That's when it looked like I hit the bell, but there's about a 20-second delay. So, if I'm within 20 seconds, I got it. All right. Hugimelio says, is it a good idea to buy something like XGD in your portfolio for volatility? Um, well, what's your goal? Let me ask that question. So XGD, and let's pull this up, guys. Let me just grab over here. We'll get back to this here. All right. XGD, whoops, we're going to try this once more. XGD, here we go. There we go. So, of course, XGD, you guys all know what this is. It's gold. So this here is your iShares S&P TSX Global Gold Index. And let's just take a look in the last year. So this is why I'm kind of like a little bit curious. So when you say buy it for volatility, this here, and you know, and when you take a look down here, you'll see there's a tiny distribution on it, but really it's not there. So volatility, I would say you're buying this for the growth. You're buying this for the growth. So, you know, if you're looking to grow, like if you're a dividend growth investor, boy, look at this. In the last year, this grew from $22 to 48. It's doubled. It's more than doubled. So yeah, this would be, to me, would be a growth. You could say, yeah, look, there's a little bit of volatility. Sure, there's always going to be volatility. The market is full of volatility. When you're looking at stocks, not so much ETFs. Most ETFs don't have a beta, or at least publish a beta value. So your beta, that's a value of how volatile something is. So if you look at the market per se, so the TSX, if the TSX has the TSX doesn't have a beta per se, but it is the beta. So 1.0 would be the average of that TSX. And if you've got a Canadian, and this is a Canadian, so if you've got a US stock, it's measured against whatever index it's on. So for example, if it's Procter and Gamble, so PG, that would be against the S&P 500. If it's, in this case here, if you look at the beta of something like Royal Bank, that's how volatile it is compared to, well, the TSX. So if we look, and let's actually take a look at Royal Bank. We'll pull Royal Bank up here. There we go, bang. And I'm going to tell you it's probably going to be a lower number than 1 because banks tend to be a lot less volatile than the banks, or sorry, than the average. So to get the beta here, oops, actually we have to go into the extra info. I could have swore it used to be on the front page. But yeah, oh, actually, I stand corrected on this one. Their beta is 1.024, so they're pretty darn close to the same volatility as the market average. But I know a lot of banks in the past when I've looked at them, their volatility's been a lot lower than that. Let's try a different bank. You know what? Let's look at National Bank. National Bank's the other one. We'll just grab National Bank, and maybe I'm going to be completely wrong on the banks. I don't know, but let's take a look and see. All right. Maybe I am really wrong on the banks, but yeah, 1.094 for National Bank. But typically they do tend to be a little bit less volatile. But keep in mind, though, the banks have moved through quite a volatile, the last couple of years. Because the banks, you know, they kind of came down a little bit as well when we were looking at a lot of the different stuff in the markets. Now, National Bank, though, might be the exception to that. I was going to say, well, let's go out. We'll go out 3 years. Yeah, National Bank, I think, has just been doing really, really good. But overall, the banks did have a little bit of a retracement. Actually, the best way to see that is we can look at, if we look at something like Bank, actually. Let's pull up Bank. And let's go to the 3-year. And you can kind of see here, like you see a slight little slope. They had a little bit of that. We had, of course, all of the aggressive rate hiking going on, and there was a lot of uncertainty with loan loss provision. So it's not even that there was uncertainty. They knew that those loan losses were coming because of the mortgage renewals from the pandemic. So what they were doing is they were putting a lot of money away for those loan losses. And what happened, and this is why we're seeing this big change. This is why we've been getting such a good amount of growth in the banks, is that, well, they didn't need all the money they put away. They were putting away, they were over preparing for the crisis, and it didn't turn out to be as bad as expected. That's kind of the story, actually. 2025, if we had to have a motto for 2025, we could say 2025, not as bad as we thought. That's kind of been the year for sure. So yeah, that's been helping. And now you can sort of see it here in bank. Obviously, there's a bit of loss of upside potential here, but that's what the banks have been experiencing. They've been growing because the money they've been putting aside. Obviously, if they're not taking as big a losses as expected, some of that cash comes back into their cash flow. It helps. Well, that whenever you increase your cash flow, it helps everything. It really does. All right. Roku. And we'll get back to the big screen. Roku is in the house with a good afternoon. Oh, Boda, what's your best silver ETF? That's a good question. I don't personally use any silver ETFs. Like I've been all about the gold. I've been all about the gold. Um, but guys, let's throw this back to the audience. What's your favorite silver ETF? And I know there's a few out there because a few of you were throwing them around yesterday. Rory says, "Way to go, Crash National. We believe in you." Oh, poor CN. They get so much abuse from poor Rory. Thoughts on MDA? Good time to enter. All right, let's take a look. All right. MDA, of course, this is a space company, guys. MDA, here we go. MDA Space. So MDA, and I want to, we can I don't know, that's not what we're looking. It happened longer than that, but let's go back here. This was the initial part. This was the initial part of MDA. MDA was doing really, really fantastic until, of course, they lost a big contract in the US. SpaceX. SpaceX pulled the rug out from under them. We've had a rough time. We've had a rough time. Now they're down to 2308. Now, they are still in a good position when it comes to some of the Canadian infrastructure projects, especially the Arctic defense stuff that we will have to be doing. And that's all part of our commitment to NATO. So I think they're going to do fine. I think they're going to bounce back. So is it a good time to enter? I would say so. I mean, look, they're at their lowest point in a year. The bad stuff behind them. So well, they're a space company. They tend to go up. I have a feeling MDA is gonna recover. So I'm not super concerned about it. Doorpat says a fake news came out on Microsoft, which they denied. People don't believe them. I did not hear about that. What is the fake news that they're denying? Because I don't know. A D hit says, who would buy something called loser coin? Um, if you wanted, I would buy it if I was back, maybe when I was a teenager. Just like let's buy loser coin as almost a joke. To me, that how well it's kind of a meme coin if you think about it. So, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy it seriously though. I would not invest in it. But I mean, with something like that, quite literally, you could probably buy 1 million of these coins for like $20. That's how cheap they are. Because when I looked at the price, it was a something to the negative exponent of something. It's small, very, very small. Joe is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. All right. Tom says, interested in what offering you used in your oil swing trade. Last month, I bought ENCL at 17.74 and sold 2.5 weeks later for 19.61. Okay. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. So this is what I did. And here, I'm going to pull it up here. I actually used XEG for this one. So this is the ICAPS S&P TSX Capped Energy Index ETF. So I wanted to just ride this up today, and here it is. So I bought at 1961. So where was that at? Right here. So I bought it right there. So I bought there and I sold it at 20. So I went from 1961 right up here to 20. I sold it there. Now, why did I sell it? Why did I sell it? Well, because when the market closes with an oil trade, I have no control over what happens between open and close and oil trades all the way through that. So if for whatever reason OPEC makes a statement or something, or some tensions calm with Venezuela, that price could come down overnight and I would have no control. So for me, I was just like, let's see what I can get out of this today. And yeah, that's what it was. Though I'm trying to think, I might have actually bought it yesterday. No, I don't. Or did I buy it today? I don't know when I bought it, to be honest. I just know I bought it at 1660, or sorry, at 16, at 1961. So, and I actually bought 1,000 shares of it. So I'll give you the whole idea. So that was like what was it? $490, something like that. That's all I did. That's all I did for that. So, of course, the channel members got to watch it live as I was doing it. So I did tweet that out. I did basically on the channel members tab. So when you guys click on that channel members tab, there's actually, if you're a channel member, you get all of the other stuff as well that I post there. So, they get to see all of that. All right. World free speech. Let's see. XRP, Martin Bishop, 1992 Evergreen. Check out that movie and you will clearly see XRP and the global banking system. Okay. Sounds interesting. I can say I have not watched that. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Oil service is dark green today. Hey, Scratch. Good to see you. Wahippo. Hey, late, but hit like on the way in. I like it. I like it. And Archer Aviation will be having good news soon, so keep your eyes on that one. Archer Aviation. Okay. I'm going to keep my eyes on Archer Aviation. I haven't had a chance to really look at them. Let's see here. And you know what? I kind of want to later. I'm just going to make a little screenshot of your comment here so that I can take a look at Archer Aviation, because I can admit I don't know a lot about them. All right, Harvest has stated new NAV prices. Do you know when Hamilton and Evolve will announce theirs? No. And it's interesting. Like some companies, I know when I was talking to 9Point the other day, they were mentioning how they update their NAV daily on the website. So yeah, some people do it more often than others for sure. All right, now I am going to quickly jump ahead here. We got a we we got a super chat from Martin. So guys, I did say if we got another one, I would have to bring out the beaver. There we go. It's our Canadian military, our new contribution to NATO. But yeah, so nonetheless, Martin is still a goat, and this made me laugh. Feel free to put towards your million loser coins. I love it. Oh boy. Funny thing is, I have a feeling that 20 would turn into 10 pretty fast with those loser coins. But thank you very much, Martin. I certainly really appreciate that. All right, let's get back to the comments. Here we go. Where was I know where I was. Nightbot had just popped up. We already have secured a show for tomorrow, so we will be on the air tomorrow as well, guys. Wahippo, I moved most of Q Day into 60, just keeping the free shares from the gain in price. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm still excited. 60 is out and I'm still excited about it. Oh boy. Gursky says, hello, I'm waiting for some dividends to come in so I can get some 60. Okay. Yep. I'm liking 60. Today I was able to, it's kind of funny. I was able to get 60 today. So yesterday, National Bank, I don't know what it was, some kind of an indexing error, but basically anytime I tried to buy 60 yesterday, it wouldn't let me. It told me that it wasn't on the index or something strange like that. It was just some kind of weird error. But today that was taken care of. I was able to get into the 60 game today. World free speech. For all you know, Bitcoin when you were playing games like kids. I know. It's funny. I mean, as a child, I don't think I could have even envisioned Bitcoin. And I'm still annoyed. Like back in the day, not child, early adulthood, early adulthood time. Somebody, that's when I first heard about Bitcoin. Because I was in the tech field. I pretty much had my ear to the grind, and somebody was talking to me about Bitcoin, and I'm like, what the heck is Bitcoin? And they told me, and it was very, very cheap. It was just, and I was just like, yeah, no, it sounds like a scam. That's what I said. So, I'll tell you, if I had put even $20 into Bitcoin, like $20 into loser coin, maybe. But if I put in $20 into Bitcoin, then, well, let's just say I would have a higher budget right now. I would have a higher budget for sure. What can I say? And Chad is mentioning PSLV as a potential silver ETF, and that's Sprotty. Sprotty does a lot of commodity ETFs. If you're ever looking through any of those ETFs, you'll find them. Sprotty, they're great with that. Paul says, Brian, you earned 13.95 per share this week of 1.395 USD. Mine was 84.56 USD this week. Okay, there we go. So with blocks, you made $121.22. That's crazy, but it's good. Wahipple. Bank came up in the last few minutes, just into the green according to my tracker. Nice. Nice. All right. Wallenius Wilhelmsen, Norwegian stock on the uptrend and good dividend coming in a couple of weeks. That's a word I wouldn't want to have to say fast 3 times. The Wallenius, yeah. I don't even want to say it again. DHIT, yep, bank ended up barely in the green. All right, and let's see here. Paul says, oops, blocks was $12.95 per share US this week, paid on Monday with Quest Trade, taking until Tuesday. Yeah, anytime, guys, whenever the payment day is, that's the day that it gets paid to your broker. So you're normally going to see it the day after. So if your payment day is the 3rd of December, so today, you'll get that tomorrow. I don't know of any brokers that actually are on the ball enough to get it to you same day, but pretty much it's the day after they receive it. And the nice thing is, most brokers, if they receive it on the Friday, they will give it to you on the Saturday. So sometimes it's kind of nice to get that dividend email saying you got dividends on Saturday for sure. All right. Martin Bishop. Yeah, you mentioned that already. Brian says BNS raised their dividends in July this year from 106 to 110 per quarter. Yeah, and that's kind of why we weren't expecting a dividend rise from Scotiabank. How far behind am I? I like to take a look. Oh, I'm 20 minutes behind. All right. So guys, remember how I talk about the QQQ or the question? Use those if you've got something you definitely want me to look at, because I might have to start jumping over a few little things here. We'll see. Will CIBC finally reach $1? Good question. We're going to find out this week, of course. That could be an interesting one. Yeah. Let's see. How is Quest Trade with Harvest ETFs? Got TSLY December 5th, Friday pay date. Wait to see if Friday or Monday at Quest Trade. Good point. Yeah. I know. I mean, I have experience with, well, actually, the National Bank doesn't actually send me dividend updates. The only one that ever did was Wealthsimple, and Wealthsimple was always really good at sending me that email every time I got it, and they were always one day. But As far as I know, I think National Bank has always been 1 day as well. Just they don't send me an email, unfortunately. I like the email. Happy Wednesday, all, from Bismarcky. Let's see, beta for XGD is 0.99 according to Yahoo Finance. Nice. So yeah, there we go. But keep in mind, a lot of the growth we've been seeing in the TSX this year, a lot of it has been related to minerals. You know, the entire mineral sector has been really propping up the TSX. It's been one of the reasons that the TSX has been outperforming. In 2025, the TSX, guys, it has outperformed the S&P 500. And you can thank things like gold, copper, silver. They've all really helped. Bismarcky bought me some 6Z today. Of course, it went down the second I hit send. That always happens, doesn't it? Huge Emilio says, thanks, Candace. What I meant was to add it to my portfolio, like 15% of it on XGD. Oh, okay. That's, I mean, to me, that's a big amount for one stock. Or I guess, no, this isn't technically a stock, right? It's actually an ETF. So that's not so bad. That's not so bad. But yeah, I mean, if you are looking for some growth, I think we're still going to get a good amount of growth in gold. Now, the amount that we've seen in 2025, some of the really explosive gold growth, I think that's probably done. I think we're going to see more steady growth through the rest of this year and into 2026. So keep that in mind. You're probably not going to double in value next year, but you're still going to go up. You're still going to go up for sure. Rory, it couldn't happen any better, could it? Biz, like I saw you coming. Here we go. ZEB ETF beta is 1.02. Okay, there we go. Yeah, some ETFs will provide a beta. And sometimes as well, if you dig through their website, a lot of times on their website, you might find a beta. But the reality is, typically with a beta, you know, it is more stocks. You get, because normally a lot of times when an ETF is holding like a basket of companies, it kind of mutes out the beta quite a bit. So the volatility kind of gets, you know, if one of them is more volatile than the other, they kind of average each other out. So it's not as useful, but nonetheless, if you're a swing trader and you're swinging ETFs, it could be a little bit useful because for me, yeah, the more something is has a high beta, the better off I'm going to be, because normally I will get a lot of that movement that I'm looking to make money on. All right, Amerio is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Cowboy, plan for the worst and hope you don't get there. I like it. Just don't fill up your tank. There we go. Rory, make a plan and watch it go to pot. We are all in this together. And here's a few more of the silver ones. So SLVO, AGQ, SLJY. Scratch says, I would go with SILJ for silver miners. Yeah. And keep in mind, guys, a lot of miners, like gold miners, they're usually, you don't normally just find one mineral in a mine. So you'll find silver, you'll find gold, you'll find copper. You can find all of them together. So just something to keep in mind. Larry is bullish on the loser coin. Jim says, Jim, I can't believe I called you Jim. Jonathan says, thanks, Brian, for the membership. Sorry, I'm late. I know, we even made a reference to it. It was funny. Could be the next scam coin. Could be. Or go rug pull. Yeah, I love it. Wall Street Bets coin. If they saw a coin, if they were doing crypto, Wall Street Bets would definitely jump on something like loser coin because, you know, you got that funny aspect to it as well. Doorpat, let's see. The claim said Microsoft reduced their sales quota in software. You can Google AI it. It will pull up the news. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. Now, here's the thing, though, guys. Once their quarterly comes out, the truth will be there. So yeah, because it's all that all comes out in the quarterly anyway. So it's if they're saying it's not, if it were true, let's just put it this way: if it were true, I can't see why Microsoft would deny it's true. So unless there's something else going on there, but that's interesting. So maybe take it with a grain of salt. That's what I would do. Scam coin sounds like a Trump family enterprise. They do like their crypto. A loser coin, is that the same as Trump coin? No, it's a different one. Trump and dump. Oh, I've never heard it put together that way. Like I'm used to pump and dump, but Trump and that works. I like it. Um, let's see. M Rideout. Patiently waiting for Biggie to go up. Bought it at a high of 27.07. Oh, yikes. Okay. Yeah, well, on the nice side, while you're waiting, you're at least getting 2 dividends every month, so that's not too shabby. Larry says buying up a lot of UBSFY, Ubisoft down from 20 to 148. I expect to buy out likely by 10 cent. That could be interesting, yeah. And that sometimes is a really good way to make a flip if a buyout happens. But you got to be careful. Like guys know, I make a lot of these trades, but I'm very picky on what I'm choosing because I don't want to. I don't like to gamble per se. So you got to be very careful though, because you can trade. If you're a trader, your trades, you can lose just as easy as you can win. That's it's a reality of trading. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to sugarcoat it at all. Okay, Cowboy, Trump University, a diploma worth less than the paper it's printed on. Yike. Yeah, redacted diploma. Go Beaver. Yeah, we got to see the beaver. Now if we go any further, I'm just gonna have to recycle. I'm gonna have to recycle. Bismarcky, everyone is getting a loser coin for the holidays. All right. People are selling bank for 60. Good, cheaper for me. Maybe. I mean, I think they can support both. Like, they are different funds because bank, of course, has the life coast. 60 does not. So 60 is just straight up the bank. 60 also uses more leverage, and of course, you've got that semi-monthly payout, so twice a month. This is really good. Let's see. I really don't want to sell bank to buy 60, but I will wait and see. Yeah, absolutely. I am keeping both. I want it all. There we go. It's funny, when I read I want it all, I heard Freddie Mercury singing I want it all in the back of my head. I was just very briefly. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, because that reminded me of that. Say it 4 times, meet Beetlejuice. HYLD is paying on Monday. Nice. Uh-oh. Jonathan says, I see the Wallenus Wilhelmsen in the Halifax Harbor ever so often and giggle at the name. There we go. Whatever happened to when we had like Theodore Thugboat in the Tugboat. Theodore Thugboat is in the rougher harbor, maybe New York Harbor, but sounds like a seasonal otter. Maybe. Guys, I should turn off. Let me do that. I'm going to turn off that time, the Financial Express, because we're there. We already got it. Oh, and guys, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, since we're just mentioning the Financial Express right there. Oh, get out of the way. You're in. All right. We'll just leave it be. Actually, I'll go full screen. There. Now the Nightbot's not in the way. So yeah, if we get, and it looks like we're on track. We're definitely on track. So there's a potential of adding 16 shows in December. If we add at least 10, the last market close in December, we're gonna open the floodgates. So on that show, every 4 supers or every 4 combinations, whatever, we'll add a January show. And we will, if we get enough of them, we might be doing market closes all the way through January. But we'll open that up as just a bonus. And, you guys can decide how many market closes I'll be doing in January. We're only going through to the end of January. So I just want to point that out there. It's not like, otherwise we could have somebody jump in and say, all right, how many gifted subs do I need for for the end of 2026? We'll do that. We'll do that definitely for January. All right. Brian says, I'm checking out. My headphones finally died. They were on charge all night, and I am plugged in now, not charging and totally off. Off to buy a new set. Have a good evening, everyone. All right. Well, it was nice. It was nice to have you here, Brian. Good luck. Good luck out there. I'll tell you guys, I don't know how many of you are in the East, but oh boy, that polar vortex. It's we're getting January temperatures here in December, that's for sure. I think tomorrow the wind chill -25. The -25 wind chill tomorrow. So I'm not going outside. Heck, today I did have to go outside to take the garbage out, but I was lucky the wind wasn't blowing when I did that. All right. Aurora says, have a good one, Brian. See you next stream, Brian. Tom says, I was thinking of getting more into swing trading, possibly SMCI, CDR. Do you have any favorites other than Air Canada? I have one. I have one big favorite, and I will show you. Let's come over here. And we have to get out of the banks because we're still in the banks. Let's get back to our normal list here. And I'm showing you for a reason. So this is Tesla. And I just want to pull this part, just for this part right here. You can get an appreciation. This is a stock that is up and down a lot. Volatility off the scales. Well, it's not off the scales. I mean, they have a beta. I don't actually know what their beta is right now, but I'm definitely, it's definitely high. But yeah, look at this. They just go, and it's very predictable. So this is one that you can get into, make a trade, and usually get out. So I normally will sort of chart where they're at, and I'll look at where they are in their cycle, and I will jump in and out and jump in and out. So I would say out of all of the CDRs, now this is the regular Tesla, but the CDR follows the same route. Out of all of these things I've been swinging lately, this year anyway, I would say I've made the most off of Tesla, just for that simple reason. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I know Paul has made a lot of money off of Tesla too. So Tesla has been very reliable, reliably up and down. That's the thing. That's the thing. Paul says Questrade doesn't send dividend emails either. You have to look in transactions for each account. Larry says, Candace, are you saying I'm not the chosen one? I don't know. Are you? Maybe. I'm not sure. Gangta tug. I don't even know what that means. Oh, maybe is that another tugboat? Oh, Gangta. Back to the whole thug, the whole thug boat, the thug boat. Ubisoft is down 92% over the last 5 years. Any other Questrade users with an Android phone have the last app update break the fingerprint login? Ooh, that's never fun. Let's see. I really enjoy my emails saying you earned a dividend. I do too. They're great. Meowie Kitchen. Shouldn't the 20 from Beaver count towards Thursdays, meaning you have enough for this week? Shouldn't the 20 from the Beaver? Sure. You know what? Sure. Yeah. All right. I'm easy. You know what? Martin didn't ask for it, but yeah, that 20. Let's just say that covers Friday. There we go. Not to say you don't have to gift or anything. You guys can do whatever you want. But yeah, you know what? That I'm easy. I'm easy that way. So sure, let's do that. So yeah, there we go. Friday's covered. There we go. I love it. All right. We have Elaine Elaine grossing or tattoo stuff. Nice. I do like that. That's a good name. Hi, new to the channel. Well, welcome, Elaine. It's nice to have you. And Crispy Bones. For some reason, every time I see Crispy Bones, it reminds me of something else. Oh, I think I saw something once called Lovely Bones. But let's see. TELUS has paused dividend increases and will step down DRIP discount from 2% to 0% by 2028. Good. I'm saying good. I'm saying good for the simple reason that I think TELUS needs to. I think they need to sort of get their cash flow in order and make some improvements. Pausing dividend increases is fantastic. Even if they lose their aristocrat status, who cares? Right now, you sort of want to you want to take care of the company. You want to take care of the company. And of course, decreasing drip, yeah, that's another thing they can do. And I even said that I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to even to cut a dividend. I don't think they're going to do it, but maybe they're starting to at least they're starting to take some kind of accountability for trying to get things back in shape. Yeah, have my login remove thumbprint. Yep. It's actually funny. I find, I don't know what it is, every so often, mostly my iPad, it will forget my, I don't know if it forgets it or it just will no longer register my thumbprint and I have to do it, well, actually not my thumbprint per se, but I use a fingerprint. But yeah, I have to keep on redoing it. Claude says, for Elaine, here at Mountain Finance, we invest in loser coin. uh, sometimes we do, absolutely. And Scratch says, since Friday is covered, I'll give a small tip. So there we go. We got a $2 super chat coming in from Scratch. And guys, it's time to recycle the goats because, what can I do? We got a very full corral today. There's a lot of goats. It's like I'm gonna have goat milk for weeks. All right, Elaine says, haha, I did some e-bank because of you guys. E-bank, yes. And I will tell you guys, spoiler alert, I did add e-bank to the 0 to 100K challenge because e-bank has been one of these ETFs that has been quietly just kicking butt. They've been quietly kicking butt without a lot of people noticing. Well, I've been noticing, and as you guys have seen, I've been putting them in a few of the list videos. So, yeah, eBank is really a good one for sure. I am loving it, that's for sure. Oh, wow. I think I caught up. That means I can have some coffee. Oh, so good. So good. I love it. I love it. So, guys, I want to mention Saturday. So let me pull this up over here for a second. I'm going to bring this up. I know we've been talking about it through the week here, but 9 Point's having this little telephone conference thing on Saturday. It's an hour. It's free. I'm going. I want to hear what they're going to talk about. So right now, the themes that they have for it are some of first, they're going to look at 2026 and some of the key factors that are shaping up to affect that year in trading. I like that. I think that's going to be fantastic. They're also going to talk a little bit about covered calls, some of the myths around them. There's a lot of myths, and of course, those of you who are familiar with some of the wars going on over there on Blossom between the income investors and the growth investors, yeah, there's a lot of myths out there. And they're also going to talk about risk and leverage. And as you've noticed, a lot more covered calls are using leverage. Risk levels are, they're there, but are they really as risky as some people seem to think? Well, hopefully they address that in this webinar. So guys, I will drop you a link here for it. I'm going to drop you a link here. Let's go. I think I put it under learn. The Nightbot. So yeah, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna be there. If you have a question that you want these guys to answer, you can actually, when you click on the link, you can actually throw your question in. There's a little box there to do it. Once you've registered, they give you a little calendar link. In that calendar link, that has the link for the actual show. So I'm looking forward to it on Saturday. On Sunday show, we'll talk a little bit about it. I'll let you know, for those of you who are there, we can all have a conversation. Or those of you who weren't able to make it, I'll let you know. I'll let you know if there was anything good in it for sure. But I think it's worth checking out. I definitely think it's worth checking out. I normally don't talk about these things on the air, so this is a good one. I think this is going to be a good one. Or maybe we'll watch it on Saturday and we'll be like, um, that wasn't as good as we were hoping for. But I think it will be. I think it's going to be great. I've had the opportunity to talk to some of the guys over at 9 Point, and there's some smart cookies over there for sure. All right, Buddha. Buddha says Tesla is great for trading, but you will be sorry not just holding. Everyone needs some Tesla. Um, Tesla Tesla is one of these companies that I think eventually they're gonna be good. I think they will be good eventually. The problem is we have so much drama with Elon, but Elon's kind of coming out of the news. He's kind of stepping back from a lot of the craziness that we've seen, and that would be good for his image. That'll be good for the company. But at the same time, you have to look at Tesla through the lens of it not being a car company. If you look at it through the lens of being a car company, then you're going to question. You're going to question whether long-term Tesla has a lot of viability. But if you look at it through the lens of being an AI company, a robotics company, I you start to see that there's a lot of potential there. So yeah, I mean, what you're saying is right, absolutely. But keep in mind, Buddha, I mean, the account that I'm doing this in is a trading account. That's what it's designed for. It's not an investment account. So under that circumstance, yeah, I'll play Tesla as long as I hope it takes a while for Tesla to get their ducks in a row because I'm making money while they're doing that. So that's how I look at it. Cowboy says we're having power line installs here the next couple of days. May miss the next two streams. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it sucks, especially if you lose power. Actually, a couple of summers ago, I lost power for a couple of days here. We had a DeRoche that came through, and I don't know how many of you know what a DeRoche is, but think of it like a tornado that's not a tornado, but it's everywhere all at once. It basically came through. It was actually funny, and it happens fast. I was looking out the window, and all of a sudden, everything went white, just white, not snow white. It was water, right? It was just horizontal rain, and all I could see was white, and it lasted for quite literally about a minute. Then it was gone, and there was destruction everywhere. There were trees in the road. The neighbor's fence was obliterated, and the power was gone. And apparently, all of the big metal, like the really big, giant transformers, towers, they were all crumpled like they were made of tinfoil. So it took a while. It took about 2 days to get power, and it took another 3 days, I think, before I even had internet back. So that was not fun. That was not fun at all. Um, Epour, Fortis. Okay, I love Fortis. I do love Fortis. Fortis was actually, guys, that was the very first stock I ever bought. Fortis. All right. Let's see. All right. Martin says ECHI seems to be outperforming HHIC in my portfolio. Thanks for mentioning their webinar. We'll tune in. Awesome. Yeah. ECHI, guys, that's one of the 9 Point ones. So 9 Point, they've been around for a while, but they've only recently moved into income ETFs. So ECHI, one of their first ones, not their absolute first, but definitely kind of similar to HHIC, similar to Canny, and I like it. I do like it for sure. Rory says, I saw that DeRoche Candace on YouTube. Just great. It really was. And it was just so surreal that it happened so fast. And I was just, one of the things I was really happy about is like at that time, one of our cats was an outdoor cat. Not an outdoor cat, but you go outside every so often. I was just very glad that he was inside because that would have been crazy to have been outside. Um, yeah. Cowboy, warmer days would have been better. I know. And I gotta say, a lot of times, um, some of these, buildings and things, like there was an apartment that I lived in Scarborough, and they decided to do all of the renovations on their heating system in the middle of the winter. I was just like, what? Why are you doing this now? Because when they were doing your part of the building, they'd have to turn off your heat for a couple of days. It made no sense. It made no sense. But oh well. All right. Elaine says, gotta go. I'll tune back in next time. Very nice to see a Canadian finance channel. Well, welcome. Welcome. You're always welcome. We got lots of live streams, so definitely check in for sure. All right, guys, we're starting to get towards the end. If you got your last minute questions, get them on in. Get them on in here. We will, of course, I will answer them. If there's a lot of them, we'll keep going. That's the way it works. Rory says, get out the space heater. Oh, wait, I can't do that. Yeah, space heater. Actually, I saw this thing the other day on another channel, on a cat channel. It was a heater that was also a cat bed. So basically, it was like a little space heater. It was on a very stable kind of a structure. The top of it was all a heated bed for cats. And apparently there was tons of safety stuff, like all tilt stuff and all of that. But I was looking at it, I was like, that's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. We have two little houses downstairs. They're in the living room, and they're both heated. So like the outdoor cat, when he comes in and it's like really cold out, he will come in the house and go straight into one of the houses and lay on the heated mat. But yeah, I mean, they get a lot of use. They get a lot of use for sure. Let's see, when men and materials are available. That's probably what it is. It's probably like there's no availability. And keep in mind, a lot of, I don't mean to make this sound bad, but a lot of these apartment buildings, owners are landlords. They tend to be pretty cheap. And, let's do it in the off season. So it'll be cheaper. I can see that. A Scratch says, still remember the icy rain event in 98 in Quebec. The wood stove was the most valuable equipment a house could have for the days, weeks we need to deal with. Deal with it. All right. Well, let me tell you a story about that, guys. So I was on a Greyhound in Canada during the ice storm. If you guys remember the big ice storm, the one that almost took out all the power in in Montreal. It took out a lot of power in Quebec. So in the height of that ice storm, I was busing. I was busing from, I'm trying to remember exactly where. I think it was from Kelowna to Halifax. When I was younger, I did not mind taking long bus rides. I kind of enjoyed them, actually, which is strange. I would never enjoy one like that today. Like, we're talking like a 4-day bus trip. But my bus was in Montreal at part of the worst part of that ice storm. And I remember I was waiting inside the terminal in Montreal, and they had payloaders out in the parking lot breaking ice off of the parking lot so that the buses could come in and go. Luckily, I was able to get out, but I was right there in Montreal for that part, and I was like, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. Just the amount of ice, it was just crazy. But yeah, I was there. I was there. What are your thoughts on OLY 2 at the moment? So OLY, so that's Olympia, right? I haven't looked at them in a bit. Now, I got in trouble once with Olympia, to be honest. I once made a really big trade, and I'm going to pull up Olympia here for a second, and it was Olympia. Olympia was my target. No, it was not Olympia. I'm looking at the price here. Give me a second here and let me take a look. Oh, no. no, I think it was Olympia because this was more than 3 years ago. So yeah, it was about, yeah, it was around somewhere in this area. But this was before Olympia exploded. They were still fairly small. So I made this very big trade. It was big enough that it it inflated the price of Olympia. It became a pump. Well, after it pumped up and I was looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, look at all the money I made. So I sold it. Unfortunately, I ended up with, I did actually end up making anything because as it was selling, the price deflated really fast in the whole process of it. And by the time everything was filled, I ended up making nothing. It was just a strange move. Well, anyway, it caught the attention of the Ontario Securities Commission, um, and they of course contacted National Bank, and National Bank put a hold on my account until we talked to them, and and the fact that I made no money, they were like, okay, but they thought it was fishy movement. And I was just like, look, I was trying to make a trade and got carried away. Anyway, it was one of those things. I learned a lesson. Don't make giant trades on on smaller stocks. So anyway, it was a really big trade. I won't tell you how much it was, but it was a crazy move. It was a crazy move. All right. No, wait a minute. I never got to give you my thoughts. So OLY. So let's just pull up the information here. So this is they're like a financial group. They do a whole bunch of different little things, health service plans and things like that. Let's take a look here. So private health services plan, dental benefits, investment account services. So like, yeah, they do a little bit of everything. They do a little bit of everything. Um, I like them. I like them overall. They've been on a pretty good. They've been on a really good run for the last 5 years. I mean, look at this. This is not bad. This is not bad. What do I think about them going forward? I think they're going to continue to move back up. You're still going to get some volatility, and you can see that volatility in here. Looks like we're at the bottom of a spike, so there is that potential we could get some movement to the upside on it. But yeah, I still like them. I still like them for sure. And let's go into the back end for a second. Nah, it's not giving me anything. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. But they've been doing well, and they have a half decent dividend too. So I'm okay with OLY. Cowboy, what's your thoughts on HBTE? So good old HBTE. So this here, of course, is our Harvest Bitcoin leaders. Let's see here. This one here. And I'm going to pull up this one. You can see. They absolutely exploded with Bitcoin. With what happened with Bitcoin, with the big movement on the upside of Bitcoin. At one point in the challenge, they had a total return in the 0 to 100K challenge of 110,000, or sorry, 110%. 110%. We'll leave it there. Then, then we have what happened to Bitcoin. Bitcoin crashed big time. It went down below 85,000 a couple of times, and so did HBTE. Now, depending on where you got in, I got in this early part, somewhere's in here, I think. And as a result, I'm still well into profit. Like right now, I just did up this morning. I just scripted all of the challenge. It's still got a total return above 40% right now in my portfolio because I got in really low. But here's the thing. I think this is a good fund, and I know if you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, but look at this big crash. Well, that's the nature of Bitcoin, folks. Crypto is very volatile. You kind of have to be prepared for something like that if you're going to get into something that's holding, well, pretty much it's holding Bitcoin, it's holding Bitcoin miners, it's part of it, it's part of the game. It's part of that game. When Bitcoin is back up again at 130, this thing will be back up. Will it be all the way back up? Probably not. It may not be back at 29 for a while. Who knows? I don't know. But Right now, it's producing some pretty good dividends. I have a lot of faith in where it will go over time. You have to keep, and the reason I say that it may not get all the way back up there when Bitcoin hits where it is, because there will be loss in upside potential. That's the nature of covered calls. So you have to be prepared for that as well. And I am, and that's fine. That's part of the compromise. So when you are going with an income, a high income fund, you have to be prepared for that. That's totally normal. So I'm okay with that. But I'm fine. I'm fine with this. And when we look, let's actually come back over here for a moment, guys, and we never did take a closer look at Bitcoin here. Let's see here. There we are. So yeah, I mean, you can see after the crash from here, this is that weekend crash. Look at that. We've already recovered that crash, and we've made back a little bit more territory. So we're now sitting at about 93,000. And interesting enough, Larry's saying that Larry's been predicting now for a week or so that we're going up to 100K and get rejected. That's a good possibility because 100K now is going to be a resistance level. So yeah, we could that could easily happen. But for now, I'm okay with it. And I think, and here's the other thing too, when you look at HBTE, you might see that this is all the way back up and you might be thinking, well, why is HBE taking its time? There is a bit of there's a bit of a buffer here because it takes time for the crypto miners to recover from crashes and things like that. So there's going to be a bit of a delay on that one. All right. Andrew says, if you have time to show TradingView how to get to high market cap cager companies, it would be awesome. Let me just show you. I'll show you a couple things here. First of all, let's open up a brand new window. All right, so here's good old TradingView. This is from their main. Now they have, of course, a lot of products. Now their screeners are free. So right now, if we're looking for companies, so that would be stocks, and you can also search by ETFs as well. You can even search by cryptos if you want. So if we go to stocks, these here are your categories. Let's take a look at this. We've got a little bit of everything up here, a little bit of everything. There's so many different things that you can do, and you can add pretty much anything. So like here, everything from beta, performance, price change, volume, volatility, post-market, all of this. They've also got, technical. So if there's technical things you want to add, like, average daily range percentage. And these are some of the more technical indicators. You could put all of that in there as well. But you got all kinds of stuff. You got financials, dividends, valuation. I like valuation as well because then you can actually look at things like if you want to look at EBIT, that is kind of cool. Price to ratio, cash to flow, all of this is in there as well. I don't know if they have, now I don't know if they actually have one here for Cager, but these are all your dividends. Just sort of point that out. But in a nutshell, so you could probably simulate Cager in here. I don't know if they actually have Cager in there, but you can sort of pull any data that you're looking for. So normally, if I'm looking for stocks, I will tell you what I normally do. This is what I normally do if I'm looking for a stock. So one of the areas for me that's pretty important is, let's actually take a look here, CAGR. No, they don't have it. All right. But one thing I like is return on capital. So, return on equity. So I will bring in return on equity. You could choose trailing 12 months or annual. I just like the trailing 12 months. So I will add ROE. So for me, you guys know, I love a stock 20% or above. Now you'll notice this one is 20 to 30. Why do I want to limit that? I don't. So in the case like that, I might just go into the manual setup and I will say above, and we'll put a return on equity percent. Whoops. Let's just go with value. 20%. There we go. So I'll just do above 20%. So that is now going to be one of my filters in here. So any of the companies right now that are listed in here, they're above 20%. So that's fantastic. Now, I might go to market cap, and it's like, okay, well, am I looking for a big company? Am I looking for a large company? Mid, small, micro, nano cap? Let's just say I'm looking for a big company. So we'll go with a mega cap, at least 200 billion market cap. Now we've got the big companies, and you'll see there's not as many. We got a few big companies that all have return on equity over 20%. Right now, it's actually looking at the US market. Well, I don't want the US market. I actually want Canada. So let's go to Canada instead. All right. So Canada does not have any of those companies. So in a case like that, then I have to sort of change my my tune. So I might say right now I'm looking at 200 and above. If I don't have any 200 above, do I have any at least 10 billion to 200 billion? Yeah, I got a ton of them. I have a ton of them in here. So the mega caps, you really don't have very many in Canada, especially with ROEs above 20%. So right here, I've got a whole bunch of them in here. So, oh, look at this. There's London Gold. You guys know I love London Gold. I might also say, all right, well, that's fantastic, but I want a company that is performing. I want the proof is in the pudding. So I'll go to, in a case like that, and I'm looking, I got to glare off the screen as well, guys, because of the light. But I will look at performance. Where the heck is performance? I thought there was oh, here it is over here. Performance. So I might say, all right, I want it at least, I'm going to say 5% and above. So if I put 5% and above, that means they've got at least in the last, I think this is year to date. So in this year, in 2025, they have at least 5% movement in their stock price. And you'll see, I'm now down to a few. So we got Loblaws, Dollarama, Celestica, Kinross, Restaurant Brands International, George Weston, Rogers, London Gold, Gildaware, Atkins Group, Aritzia, and Quebecor. And here's the beautiful thing. I can click on the performance tab, and if I'm looking for year to date, I can actually sort it. What is it, descending? There we go. So here at the top, London Gold, year to date. Holy banana bread, 254.96%. So what you probably would have to do, Andrew, is take a look at some of the components that make up the CAGR calculation and search on, add those sort of separate as their own preferences. But, I'm not going to do that right now per se, but it is something you can certainly do. All right. Cowboy says, I have a generator for issues like that. Okay, perfect. Tom says, when you do your swing trades, do you use a 5-year view, 1-year view? Thanks. This is kind of the thing. So when I'm doing a swing trade, I'm usually making shorter swing trades. So most of my swing trades, it's rare for a swing trade to go more than a week. I've got one right now that's older than a week, but for the most part, I like shorter swing trades, other than the Air Canada one I got going in the challenge. That one, it can run as long as it wants because we already got a clear agenda for it. But for the most part, I'm looking at smaller, quick trades. Like I like to have a trade that I get in, I get out within a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days. Now you can do swing trades on much longer time frames, and that's where you have to sort of look at what your goals are, what your time frames are, and then that will determine how you're going to look at it. So when we look, and let's go back here. So for example, we were looking here, well, that's Bitcoin. Let's go back to Tesla for the moment. Here we go. So when we're looking at Tesla, this right now, oh, this here is the actual Tesla. I think the other Tesla we were looking at was the CDR, but this here is showing you, actually, this is the CDR. So this is the one I've already got charted out a little bit. So I was looking at this. So this here is the zone that Tesla had been trading in. And I think I actually made this for a longer time frame. Right now, this is on the 1 hour. And the 1 hour for me is fine when I'm doing a trade that's short. But if I was doing a longer trade, I might, so let's say, for example, if I was doing trades where I was like, okay, I want to look at trades over a month. Well, in a case like that, I probably would go to the 1 day. So I would just change this up here to 1 day, and I will collapse it so that I can see what's going on. So each candle in this view is 1 day. I might make it a little bigger. Make it a little bigger here so we can see it a bit better. But each of these candles is 1 day. So, if I was looking here, I could sort of see, from here to here, this is like, that movement there is about a week. This movement here is what, maybe 2 weeks or so. So I will look on a larger scale, depending on the trade that I want to make. And sometimes, for me, I'll start small initially. I'll look and see, okay, are there any quick trades I can make that will turn around profits quickly? If there's none, I will probably start to zoom out a bit. And then I'll look and say, okay, is there anything I can make? Now, to me, a 5-year swing trade, that's investing. It's really, I mean, it's just all you're doing in the case like a 5 year is you're kind of just rebalancing because, and sometimes that's the case. Like sometimes you may get into something. So, all right, let's say, let's look at London Gold. So at the beginning of the year, I was telling people about London Gold, and I was telling people that gold was going to have a good year. And, if I got in, and obviously in the challenge, I get into London Gold. The object with that is, I'll ride it up. And when it looks like gold is finished this cycle and perhaps it's going to retreat for a while, I might sell London Gold at that point. Is that a swing trade? I wouldn't call it. I think if it goes more than a year, I wouldn't call it a swing trade. I'd just call it rebalancing. But yeah, so like I said, zoom out, determine how quickly you want to make a trade, determine how quick you are looking for a turnaround. And here's the thing, if you're not relying, like if you're just doing this to make money, but it's not like you're living off of that money, you could do longer trades, no problem, because that's going to be easy. I mean, you don't have to rely on it, but if you're relying on it, then you're probably doing shorter trades. And of course, if you get really short, then you start to blur the line between swing trading and day trading. So are some of my trades day trades? Sure. Some of them would definitely, like the XEG trade, that technically is kind of like a day trade. But, I don't mind going longer. And in some cases, I don't mind getting into. So another thing I did today. So as I mentioned, I added 6C to the challenge. Well, I also started a swing trade on 6C as well because I'm expecting to see a little bit of movement to the upside based on what's happening with the banks. I don't know how much movement I'm going to get, to be honest. So I'm kind of like looking at that as being, I'll probably be looking to sell that towards the end of the week or maybe early next week. Whether, maybe I'll have a little bit of profit or maybe I'll have a little bit more. I don't know. It's just kind of that thing. I'm like, all right, let's just see what happens. So I look at that as being more of an exploratory swing trade. But yeah, it really boils down to your time frame. Whatever time frame you want to do your trading in, you're going to use you're going to use a similar time frame in your charting. And let's see here. Luke says, hi, Candace. I'm doing a swing trade in Propel Holdings, purchased $21, $22, looking for a good sell price. So hard to know when to sell. Okay, Propel Holdings. All right, well, let's try something here. Let's try something. Here we go. Here's Propel. So here's Propel Holdings. I'm going to add them. And let's go in here. So, all right, so here is our Propel Holdings. We're currently still on the day chart. All right, I'm going to take a look here. We'll look at it at the day chart for now. So you got in, you said purchased $21 to $22. All right. All right, so you purchased down here. So $21, $22. Let's just say you purchased right around the bottom of this. So, all right, already you're up to about $27 right now. Well, actually, it's retraced a bit, $26.67. That's a good question. What are you looking to do? Now, when we look out, I'm going to collapse this up a little bit. When we look out, you can sort of see, yeah, there is potential for it to go much higher. Now, this is the kind of way I play it. Like, I tend to buy a lot of the shares. So some people, for example, if you don't buy a lot of the shares, then you're probably looking for bigger price movements to the upside to be able to, to be able to make it worth your while to do it. So for example, if I bought 1,000 shares of this at like $22, by the time I get to $23, I've made $1,000. If I was on this swing trade with 1,000 shares at $26, I would have profits of about $4,000. Is that enough? Sure, it absolutely is. And how I would handle it is I tend to come in, well, let me give you, here, just give me a second here. Let's go. We'll get a different whiteboard. I don't want to use the whiteboard I'm using for the bank. So let me make up another whiteboard. So I tend to come in with a trade. So when I make a trade, I'm going to get my marker here. I will pick, I like about $1,000 in profit. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see $1,000. All right. So that's my goal. Am I going to hit that goal? Sometimes no. So when I come in, if I bought, let's say I bought a share at $10.12. Well, I'll create a target of, well, in this case here, it would be $11.12. If this is what I was doing. So what happens as it starts to move? So I'm going to put there, and there's my goal. So if it starts moving, and we'll use green. If it starts sort of slowly moving up towards my goal, I have to sort of look at how long. I take a lot of things into consideration. So how long is it taking to get here? How long was I intending to be in this trade? Are there any factors? So for example, with the oil, as I mentioned with my XEG trade, one of the factors is that I have no control what happens when the market's closed and oil is still moving up or down. So there's no control. I can't react to what's happening. So that was a real concern. That got me out. I got out taking, in this case here, I ended up taking, roughly $400. So I took, was it $4 or $4.90, something like, I think it was $4.90. I ended up taking $4.90 in profit, probably right about there. Now, the way I would play this though, is that once I'm up here, yes, this is my target. This is where I want to sell. But I will, depending on what my goals are, how long the trade is going, I might throw a stop loss in here. So I might drop my stop loss in here and move it. I'll manually move it because I don't have trailing stop losses. I'm still hoping to get my goal. But I look at it this way. Let's say in the case of this one, if I have my stop loss at about 490 in profit, and it comes back and hits it, okay, I made $490. Oh well, yeah, the trade's over, but I have at least made some profits along the way. So depending on what's happening, I will drop in. So in this case here, I think initially I had about, I think it started at about $400 in profits. And then I kept moving it up until it was about $490 in profits. And then it hit at, in the case here with it was, let me see, what was it again? 19, oh, there we go. I got in at 1961. And I ended up hitting at $20. There we go. So that was where my stop loss got triggered, is at that $20 mark. So it happens. But I look at it this way, it doesn't matter what the trade is. If you finish in the green, you've still won. You still made something. And I'll give you another example. The second one I did this morning was Microsoft. So I did the CDR for Microsoft. And I was looking, and here, let me show you. I'll show you what I was thinking here. Microsoft right here. Microsoft was on this little rundown right here. So it had done this, and I was looking at this, and I'm like, you know what? There's a good chance it's going to turn around and come back up. And it did. It came back up. Now, when I got into it about here. Actually, yeah, that's roughly where I got in. It went down, it came back up, and it moved. So I was thinking it was going to come back up. I thought it was going to turn up sooner, but it didn't. It actually went down to here, and then it came back up, and it just pushed me above where I got in. So I ended up with about $50 in profits. And then it went down again. So that was fine by me. This was supposed to be a quick one. I thought we were going to get this. I was also looking, and guys, when I was looking at this, I was looking at the futures, tech futures this morning. They were on the high. They were on the rise. They were predicting the market going up. They were predicting a green day on the NASDAQ. So I was like, okay, that could be good for this. So, but it didn't. I got the bounce. I didn't get the bounce I was expecting. That's why when that happened and I did get a little bit above it, I was like, you know what? This trade is not done what I have expected. I've misread Microsoft this morning. So, because I misread it, I took my profit and ran. And that was a good move. That turned out to be a good move. So that's kind of the way I approach things. So with the Propel, once again, Luke, what I would do if I were you tomorrow is I would, and we'll go back to Propel here, if it's still moving up, I would consider maybe putting a stop loss in. Don't put it too close because, otherwise it'll get triggered easily because there's going to be a normal amount of volatility. But maybe put a stop loss in and then ride up that stop loss. Ride it up, see how much you can milk out of this before you close that trade. But I wouldn't get too greedy. That's how you lose trades, because if this turns around and comes back down, and you may completely miss the swing trade. You may completely miss it. So that's one of the other big things with swing trading is don't get greedy. Don't get greedy at all. All right. Jan says, I'm not sure what version, but Questrade is providing the ability for us to create our own ETFs early 2026 and a few other upgrades. It sounds interesting. I've always thought that that would be a great idea, being able to sort of bundle your own ETFs together. Good on Questrade for doing that. I think that's kind of cool. Let's see. Propel Holdings is actually similar to how I did when I was buying boatloads at $8 a share. It's getting coiled and will explode higher one day. Yeah, it may, but here's the thing. And here's the thing, though. Going back to you, Luke, when I say put in your stop loss, take this profit. I mean, if it comes back down, doesn't mean you can't get back in unless it's in your TFSA. Then you don't want to be doing that at all. But yeah, I would be looking at taking some profits personally. Personally, you may be a little bit. You may want to ride it higher, but I'm just saying I would just be careful with it. I personally would be taking profits. Luke's profit Propol is volatile. I'm up 20% in 2 weeks. Not looking to hold long term. Yeah, I mean, you're doing good. You're doing good. Jan says I have heated cat mats. They love them right about now. For sure. Andrew, thanks for going over that for me, Candace. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to using the trading view screens to buy steady CAD companies that are looking to break out of a tough year or two. Nice. EQ just bought PC Financial from, ooh, that is interesting. That's very interesting. Oh boy, I got to look at this. That might be what we're talking about tomorrow. I meant as an overview to see the pattern for charting. One day is day trading, correct? I'm looking at holding for a month or two. There we go. Yeah, I kind of did there. Oh, what's the tax like on swings? Good question. It is, it depends on how frequently you're doing them. If you're not doing them frequently, you can probably get away with calling them capital gains, which would be 50%. But if you're doing them frequently, it's 100% taxable income. 100%. Simple as that. Anything with day trading or steady swing trading, yeah, it's 100% taxable. All right, guys. Holy banana bread. We went to 142. That's amazing. All right, guys. This has been another fantastic show. Oh, we got one last comment we'll get to before I jet or land the plane. The 30-day TFSA thing. I know you shouldn't rebuy a stock you sold within 30 days, but can you quickly sell something you just bought? You can, just don't sell it. Just don't buy it back. Don't buy it back within 30 days. And there's some people who will argue and say you shouldn't sell things quickly in your TFSA. Well, if you do it every so often, it's not a big issue. Remember, the big thing is they're looking for frequency. If they're not seeing that frequency and you're not buying back in 30 days, you're safe. You're absolutely safe. All right. Okay, guys. That is another stream concluded. We got 2 more this week. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll do it all over again, and we'll be back here on Friday. Until then, guys, have a fantastic night, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. All right. Bye.